Yaffee program on WVNN.
So I've said this since the beginning of Trump's term, since Trump's been in office, frankly, even in his first term. I said the good thing about President Trump is he is willing to do and say things that other presidents aren't willing to do. That has been a good thing in a lot of cases. You can give some examples: killing Soleimani, taking on the left, the radical left. Also, when it comes to moving the embassy to Jerusalem, all that kind of stuff, that's good. But I've also said that the bad thing, when we're talking about President Trump, is he's willing to do and say things that maybe other presidents aren't willing to do. There are times when it's really bad, like when he started bashing Rob Reiner after Rob Reiner died. You know, it's kind of an example. And the reason I bring that up is when it comes to the war in Iran, we have seen both sides of this. It's good that President Trump was finally willing to take on this evil regime. We've basically been at war with them for 47 years in some capacity. So it's good that we're finally like, enough is enough. Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. They're terrorizing the region, trying to terrorize the world. We just can't have this. But we've also seen the other side of this, where Trump is willing to, we had Project Pause, what I called it, the quasi-ceasefire. It looks like today they're saying we're giving them space. So Project Space, I don't know what we're calling it today. Operation Space. Operation Give Iran Space. The back and forth of this is what's annoying. You look at some of the polls, it's not a popular war. Now, Democrats are always going to be opposed to it, but I really believe a lot of Republicans still, they just don't like how this is being handled. We either finish the job, really take on the regime, or we don't. And we just get out. So that shows how you get kind of both sides. You get the great part of Trump, but you also get somewhat of the undisciplined part all in one when we're talking about this recent conflict with Iran. So we will talk about that later on as well. The good news for Trump and the good news for Republicans in the midterms is their enemies are making this job easier for them. Political enemies, what I'm talking about. The Democrat Socialists of America. I mean, I'm sorry. When I played a cut last week of Bill Maher saying what they're promoting is basically communism, that's what they're promoting. I will play their own words to give you an example here. So we'll talk about that in a moment. You are listening to the Yaffee program. This is the show where you can count on the latest news, the important guests, and the best analysis, all for your morning commute here on News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. If you missed it, I filled in for Dale Jackson in the last hour of his show. We talked a lot about flock cameras, and I didn't know it was such a big issue. Apparently it is. A lot of you weighed in on that. So that's definitely something that's going to come up. It's going to be the thing after the data centers, I guess. It's the newest controversy here. These cameras that can read your license plates. So we talked about that. If you missed it, the podcast of his show will be up. But during this show today, we'll have the Alabama bullet points, the top stories from around the state. We'll speak with Todd Stacy, who is with Alabama Daily News, host of Alabama Public Television's Capital Journal. Later on, we'll do the Sunday News Show's recap. That's when I recap what happened on those Sunday news talk shows like Fox News Sunday, CBS Face the Nation, and others. So you don't have to worry about it. I give you Sunday off, and I recap it for you on Monday. If you're a news junkie like me, but you got things to do on Sunday, don't worry. I'll give you the latest details, my public service to you. We also end the show with the Yaffee program Rewind. We always take your text messages on the Yaffee text line. It turns into the Yaffee text line during my show. 866-494-9866, 866-494-WVNN. And Walker is here producing once again. She's going to do What's Trending in the next hour. Walker, how are you today?
Well, I'm a little upset that it's so humid that when I got out of my car, my glasses fogged up.
Oh, man, I don't know how you people with glasses do it. I don't know how you live, because that does sound very annoying.
Yeah, there was a point in high school that my dad offered to pay for me to have
LASIK?
Yes. And I was like, no, that's okay. Now I kind of regret it.
I was about to say, you made a huge mistake. You had an opportunity to get that?
Yeah.
He won't do it for you now?
Well, I mean, I I don't know.
You're like, maybe I should ask. But yeah, that's a bummer. Yeah, my wife had really bad eyesight, and we ended up getting her. She had to have like a special beyond LASIK. They had to do like lens replacement surgery or something. Her eyes were so bad. I've never worn glasses. I've never had to wear glasses.
Well, good for you, Yaffee.
It's the one thing about me that still works are my eyeballs. That's it. That makes me happy. All right. By the way, do you have the audio ready?
I do.
So I want to get into this. Honestly, this is also from a Sunday News talk show. We could almost just make this part of the Sunday News show's recap. But I wanted to play these cuts. So you had the Democrat Socialists of America. We've been talking a lot about them. Now, it's funny. I posted this on my Facebook page and my X page, Instagram as well. So like the Yaffee Facebook page. You can see it. But the Democrat Socialists of America co-chair, her name is Megan Romer, was on Fox News Sunday. And I had people commenting on my post, and they're like, look, they're not really Democrats. Their membership is pretty small. This isn't really a big deal. I mean, I would like to believe that it's not really a big deal, but they're winning elections. Bernie Sanders almost became president, and they're getting more and more influence in the Democrat Party and the media. And don't even talk about academia. I mean, those in academia are pretty much right in line with this. So Shannon Bream, Fox News Sunday, brings her on and asks her to explain a couple of her positions, and they're very open about it. And you know what? She has a smile when she says it. You know, it's putting a happy face on communism, basically. But go ahead if you can, Walker. Play Romer cut 1 for me.
And abolish the Senate. There are people who are in the Senate now who are very supportive of DSA. They lose their seats?
Well, the Senate is an anachronistic institution. It comes from the British House of Lords. It is made to protect power for, the Senate was part of the system that was made to make sure that the people didn't have too much of a say. So we want to expand Congress significantly, but make it a unicameral legislature.
Okay, so first off, in some ways it's modeled after the House of Lords in that those who promoted a Senate did want a bicameral legislature. It wasn't like the House of Lords where you have an aristocracy or something. But really, the Senate was put there for one main reason, to make sure the states had a say despite their size. Smaller states were worried that the bigger states were just going to gobble up everything they did. They would have no individual sovereignty or state sovereignty. So they wanted a check on the House, which is direct Democratic. But really, you have to remember, it's not about, we don't want the people to have a say. What it's really about is protecting individual rights and individual liberty and states' rights. That's what the Senate is for. What makes America great is not just democracy. You could theoretically make everything a democratic decision. Everything is put up for a vote. Everything. The problem with that is you get basically a mobocracy, where 51% of the population can tell the other 49% everything they're allowed to do or not do, control everything. But really what makes America great is not just our democratic institutions, it's also protection of minority rights and individual liberty. And you abolish institutions like the Senate, yeah, technically it's quote unquote more democratic, but in order to get to that point, usually you're getting rid of individual liberty. So I just have to point that out. Now go on and play cut 2 of Romer for me.
To abolish ICE, would there be any enforcement of immigration laws, or with abolishing the border, we're not enforcing immigration laws, they go away?
Yeah, so again, this is part of this longer term plan, and part of it
but if you
includes,
can get there.
If we can get to the place where the U.S. is not destabilizing countries in order to mine them for resources, there will be significantly less migration.
What do you say to those, though, that would potentially destabilize the U.S.? Because there's only so much the economy can bear, and when you have a flood of people coming in, it might not work out economically, according to a lot of analyses, if you just open up the borders and there's no enforcement at all.
Well, we're not saying open the borders tomorrow. We're saying rebuild an economy and a society that works for everyone. And the open borders is part of a longer-term international plan that involves us stopping destabilizing countries. Most people who are coming to this country are coming as economic refugees, and we destabilized their country. We did that.
Well,
So this goes back to what I talked about on Friday. Remember, I was reading that quote from Tucker Carlson. He might as well join the Democrat Socialists at this point. But they believe every problem in the world is America's fault. Well, they only want to come here because America destroyed their countries, you see. They believe that America is the problem in the world, so we must radically transform America from within, and we'll make the world a utopia. Don't you know that South America, Central America, Mexico would just be utopias if it weren't for the United States? Now, of course, it's absurd, but it gets to their thinking. I'm honestly surprised she didn't just yell, "International workers of the world unite," because that's basically what she's saying. I'm going to play Romer Cut 3.
you know, if you look at data, the Center for Immigration Studies says right now the households here in the U.S. that are headed up by people who are here illegally, nearly 61% of them are on some type of government or welfare program here in the U.S. Can we afford to do that? I mean, at some point you run out of resources.
Well, right now, we make it very difficult for people to participate in society in such a way that they can avoid using services. So we want people to be able to work and live and go to school and actually participate, which means contributing to society and also getting what they need from society. It's a collective choice we can all make.
Collective choice. Everything is about the collective, just so you know. Even though she's acting like this is a new idea for a better future, these are the same ideas. These have been tried before. This is just communism. It's the same old socialist communist ideas. That's all this is. There's nothing new about it. And in order to get to betterment for the collective, like she said, they will want to sacrifice individual liberty and private property to do it. Just so you know. I'm going to play Cup 4 of Romer.
So if we talk about abolishing prisons, then does that make society better? I mean, is there anybody that should be incarcerated? I mean, rapists, child predators, murderers?
Yeah, so the long-term plan, when we think about most people who are in prison, they are mostly in prison for crimes of poverty. But that's not what
I'm talking about. I'm talking about the really, the
I hear
murderers
you.
and
So
rapists of the world.
So when we get rid of this need for crimes of poverty to exist, when we get rid of that destabilizing force that creates so many people who are living in desperate situations and doing desperate things, that brings those numbers down to very small numbers. And then we can collectively decide what we do with those people. I suspect it won't look like the prison system as we know it today.
Okay, but you do think some people need to be locked away from society?
Some people are not able to be functional members of society. That's true. But what does that look like to keep the rest of us safe? You know, we're talking about safety. We're not talking about punishment. We're talking about making sure that we're safe, everybody maintains their dignity, and everybody maintains their humanity.
Oh, by the way, what they really use in communist countries, what they do with the prisons, those who dissent politically. They'll take out all the so-called crimes of poverty, but then if you dissent with their political agenda, you believe in individual liberty, you can go into the prison. If you want to weigh in on this, you can. We have our Yaffee text line, 866-494-9866, 866-494-WVNN. We'll be back in a moment on the Yaffee program.
You're listening to Yaffee on WVNN.
You didn't start a business just to keep the lights on. You're here to sell more today than yesterday. You're here to win. Lucky for you, Shopify built the best converting checkout on the planet. Like the just one tapping, ridiculously fast acting, sky-high sales stacking, champion of checkouts. That's the good stuff right there. So if your business is in it to win it, win with Shopify. Start your free trial today at shopify.com/win.
Hey, I'm Chris Van Vliet. Go behind the scenes and beyond the headlines with the biggest names in pro wrestling and beyond.
Jeff Jarrett, great to see you.
In this business, the story behind the scenes, so much more entertaining than what you see on camera.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman.
Mr. Heyman, you are a master at the little things. That's how you turn good into great.
What does it take to achieve greatness? Whatever it takes, I'm willing to do.
That's an Emmy-winning performance.
How about it?
Insight with Chris Van Vliet. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
I will always have a complicated relationship with this game, but people evolve. So do sports. Do not make me regret this. Do not make me devolve back to that guy that so many clones wish that I still was. And do not embarrass the entire country. Now, I can go back. I can get there fast. Lose tonight, and you got a real problem. Do not blow it.
The Jim Rome Show podcast.
You've been warned.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.